Okay, so we have, of course, for a long time been theorizing when we might finally make our way into Novigrad, and I think today is, in fact, that day. So, let's give it a look here.
No loitering round here.
Oh, well, I'm sorry.
Careful, you scab. This is Novigrad, not your backlast village.
Okay. So we've
Got my
heard
eye on
lots
you.
about this place, of course. It is, I believe, supposed to be the largest city, and therefore I would expect for us to have a lot of people in here, including perhaps Vids addicts, and beggars, and witch hunters. That's entirely separate from being a witcher, right? I assume so. It's just a coincidence. So I don't even know where to start. Oh, there are lots of witch hunters. Okay, because we do, of course, have our primary quest in here, that being Pirates of Novigrad, where we're visiting Triss. Let's just throw that on our map real quick to see where it is in the city and where we are right now. So that looks like it's roughly in the middle, maybe still a little bit more southerly, although I suppose in some ways it seems as though the city is split up across a few different islands. So I'm assuming that if there aren't a bunch of quests around here already, we're probably going to stumble across several along the way. So we'll check those out. Hopefully they'll be a good level for us. That would be ideal. If not, then of course we can do the main quest, but generally speaking, this has been not top priority to do the main quest whenever those are the things in the area that we're headed over to. So, like, secondary quests, actually... Oh, I was gonna say, I did not remember there being another secondary quest that was just about the right level for us. This is the one that we got not so long ago about the troll who needs some help getting some paint. That is, however, supposedly more so in the other area to the east of here, technically not directly in the city. So I'm thinking that's probably going to wait, even though it is kind of sort of the best fit for us level-wise at the moment. The other thing is that if we can pick up just a couple levels in here doing some stuff here and there, then I would think that we can start to consider more seriously things like these level 22, 23 quests, or 20 over here, 17 even. I think this is in, yeah, Novigrad itself. So there are definitely some things that we're very close to being able to do. So I'm hoping that we'll find ourselves in a good place to get some of that stuff done and discover a bunch of new things we've not yet seen. King of Beggars Henchmen? That's a thing? Okay. So other things that I remember you guys saying about Novigrad is that there are many back alleys that we theoretically can loot. Oh,
I think the lady's grown tired of your company.
I
Lady,
didn't
what
even
lady?
know that.
See her ears? She-elf. And everyone knows elves are always doing something on the sly.
I'm not doing anything, I swear it. I must just fetch some water.
Where will you put it? Where's your jug, eh? Where's your bucket?
And that is true. It is a little odd for you to be carrying water if you don't have anything in which to carry said water. But I have to think that this was probably a conversation that we were supposed to be eavesdropping on, and I did not catch any of it, so I feel like we're kind of going in blind here. And it would be nice for you to leave her alone, because it does seem like you guys are kind of trying to pick a fight. But, just not my business. We could be starting to fight ourselves if we were to go this route, but... See, normally you guys were saying that these not yellow options, the more grayish ones, for lack of a better way of phrasing it, are things that will typically not progress the conversation further. They're more just like background information, context. However, this one really feels like it's kind of taking sides and saying, alright, elf lady, seems like you're giving us a whole lot of lies right now. So I'd like more information because we know basically nothing, but at the same time, I would rather side with the elf.
Why don't you just tell the truth?
What do you mean, why? She's a non-human. Lions in their blood.
Don't let that fair face beguile you, Witcher. Pretty as a picture on the outside, she-elves, but the most vile filth within.
Okay. I suppose that's a little more information, but just
Leave her
leave her
be.
alone.
By what right you giving me orders, eh?
Oh dear.
Let's go, Reddy. Killing's like batting an eye for Witchman.
He's not wrong. What's that supposed to be?
You can breathe. It's over.
Over. For you, perhaps. You'll go on your merry way. But I must stay here. And they will too.
And there's not a lot we can do about that. I'm not sure what "you're welcome" means exactly in this context.
Stop. Can't handle all this gratitude.
Okay.
We ought to learn our manners from the elder races. That's plain to see.
What would you expect? Payment? Or am I to fall into your arms? Perhaps spread my legs for you? Go, Vatgern. And remember, we neither need nor want your pity.
Sorry for helping, I guess. My bad. Also, apparently, you're not actually staying here, despite what you just said to us. Okay. So, like, for example, when we loot stuff here, who exactly will rat us out? Colonel Fire Priest?
You are brutal, but your heart knows not the true fire.
I'm gonna say, those guys are probably, they seem like the type of people who would rat someone out for stealing stuff. But anyways, I feel like we will very quickly get lost in the city if we don't have a plan as to which direction we want to go in. So maybe this main pathway here, we start to go down a side route, but I'm thinking maybe we start going down this main path and focus on the westernmost part of the city at first. Try to discover as much as there is to discover there, and then take it from there, basically. We'll take it slow.
Waste of breath.
Talk to as many people who want to talk to us. Can we go into the buildings? Ooh, some of them at least, yes. I suppose not much different from other towns in that way, but just I suspect there will be many more buildings here than there were in other locations. Will they all be houses? I'm assuming not. As for what else we might see, though, I can't say. Might have even, I suspect, passed a house or two already. Well, maybe not. Is this a stable of sorts? Could appear. You guys are doing something over there. Looks like you're having a fist fight of sorts, which is tempting, because of course we did do that in Velen. But I'm assuming that at some point we'll have the time to do that later. Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm assuming we probably don't want to go that route. This is... Ooh, the end of the main path. That guy was moonwalking for a second there. Okay, so this, I believe, will be the west side. You a shopkeeper? You are a merchant. Can we actually talk to you? Apparently not. You don't want to sell your wares, even though you are a merchant? Let me know how business is going in, say, a week or two, and... well... we'll see if you're still doing business at all. I was gonna say, that was not the most enthusiastic, not the most authentic of arrs. You didn't seem like you really wanted to be a pirate there, I'm afraid. Ooh. That's nifty, though. We'll definitely want to check out some of the folks later on, I think. You just purr at us? Don't ever do that again. Hello. To you as well. What about this area? Looks... less so this spot right here, but I was more so thinking, like, up here looks like there's something of note. Can we go through this? No. One day. One day, maybe. Okay, more stables of sorts.
Must be divine punishment.
Oh,
You're referring to us?
I've had enough of living.
Bandits? In town? Just chilling with the name Bandit? You know, you'd think you'd be a little more subtle about that?
And you, don't you butt in like a belch between 2 pints, because you're out of your fucking element.
So
Are we
make a
now?
hair and sod off.
Again, this feels like another one of those situations where we might want to be a little more patient with talking to people before we actually initiate conversations. Hang out just a second, hear what they're talking about, and see On this occasion, apparently they're messing with someone. I would assume that since they're bandits, they're probably trying to rob someone right now. We probably do want to leave, or ask him to leave this guy alone.
Let's pretend I didn't hear that. Now get out of here, before I get tired of playing make-believe.
I see you lot are tough in the tongue and nowhere else.
Fuck this. We're gonna let some dandy's boyfriend scare us. Let's show him how things are done on our
Are you actually going to fight us? In the middle of the city? Yes, it does seem as though that is the case. I was going to say, previously, the other enemies we were encountering wasn't 100%, potential enemies we were encountering, wasn't 100% sure if they would actually try to engage us in the city. It does seem a little bit odd, seeing as how, you know,
Thank you for your help.
it's in plain sight.
That's the only way to deal with this rabble. They beg for trouble.
And
I
you're
swear,
begging
I
for
recognize that
trouble
guy's
just
voice.
coming here at this hour, especially dressed like that.
I've come on business.
Good luck with that.
Wait. You helped me once, perhaps you'd be willing to do it again.
Hmm?
For more than a kind word this time.
Oh? Can't afford me? We say to this guy who appears to be very well off. Well, what did you have in mind?
What's involved? Just to be clear, I'm neither a bodyguard nor an assassin for hire.
Now, what makes you think I need either of those? I'd simply ask you to
mean,
accompany me on a stroll.
Pretty close to what we
Should
do.
anything happen along the way, well, perhaps then you might need to do some work for you. What say you to that?
That's basically a bodyguard. Is it not? You just described exactly what a bodyguard does. And we just said we absolutely are not a bodyguard, which is not really true, because we're probably going to take this anyway. I mean, we've no reason to actually turn it down, right?
Agreed. I'll be right behind you.
Keep your hand
So we're
on
doing
your
this
hip.
right now?
As a general matter of precaution, of course.
Of course. Always do that when I'm out for a stroll.
Of course. Yes, it does appear as though this is happening right now. Can we check as to what level this is? Walk on the waterfront? I think it's this. Escort the nobleman. A certain nobleman asked Geralt for a bit of assistance. He wanted the Witcher to accompany him on a stroll to a rather dodgy part of Novigrad. Richmond's clothing alone would get him killed in that quarter. Okay, well, we don't really know anything about this quarter, but apparently this is a not-so-nice quarter. So Geralt agreed to help. It's level 12, which is theoretically a good fit for us. So, okay. I did see that he has a health bar, which probably shouldn't come as a surprise. Also, if you could, like, maybe not run, it's a little alarming that you're doing that. Just like you're trying to run away from us. Or we have now apparently found the docks. So this is one way for us to explore the city, I suppose. Can you just, like, stay away from everyone? Just don't engage at all in the fighting. That would probably be preferable. Okay.
Those men were waiting for you, lying in ambush. What are you involved
they?
in?
Those men were common cretins, unaware they'd cast their net for an extreme.
I'll remember that when it comes time for you to pay up.
Okay. Good to know. So yeah, we'll definitely want to double back here to check this stuff out in full when we're actually done escorting this guy. But it gives us a quick look at what we can gather from a quick walkthrough, or in some cases run through. Okay, more. These guys are level 12 rather than 10, which was the case with the previous guys. Can we, like, I don't know, what are the limits with regard to what we can and cannot do in the city? Don't do that. Don't hit him. That's not nice. He's gonna pay me a lot of money, supposedly. He says he will, but he's probably gonna be one of those people who says he has a lot of money and then turns around and actually won't pay a cent.
Protector would be of no help. What is this about?
Let's say I found a niche I intend to explore. The details I must keep to myself. After all, I did not agree to pay you to ask me questions.
Haven't seen a single crown yet.
That's
Because
true.
we've not yet finished our stroll.
I swear, this guy voices someone else. For sure.
You're late.
I'm
Oh.
afraid I had some unexpected adventures along the way. However, we can now focus on our core concern, and that is what matters.
Who's the fella followed you here?
He's my gardener.
Right,
I never go
of course.
anywhere out here.
And now Witchers are also
Good luck,
actors.
Susie. Just no funny stuff. Got it?
Funny stuff is my middle name. Wait, so basically, I'm assuming that means, like, say nothing. Versus, make a point of saying, like, hey, you guys seem like you're up to no good here. Or just like, yeah, let's wait. We'll be the quiet bouncer type.
Right, on with it before winter snows surprise us. Got 4 quarts for you now. I can get you another 2 real quick. Provided you're not lying about demand.
I am Ginter de Laverack, and I never go back on my word. I had no trouble distributing the last 4 quarts, and I assure you there's demand for more.
We'll see about that. For now, you owe me 5,000 crowns.
Oh, that's a lot.
We agreed on 4,000, and I don't like cheats. I suggest you refrain from trying to pull anything lest you feel a witcher's blade in your gut, right?
Yeah, we'll back him up.
Don't care who owes who or how much, but this man is supposed to pay me, so I'd rather he not get fleeced.
It's true.
Witcher or not, you can't hope to drop us all.
I'll find out.
Peace brings prosperity. Strife's bad for business. Fine, make it 4,000. Let's go.
Pure pleasure doing business with you. Well,
negotiation.
That was better than I ever expected.
Yeah, not bad.
We done with our walk?
Yes, and here's your pouch.
So that 1,000 extra that you pocketed there, or didn't have to pay, that's going to us, right? That's the way that works? But yeah, like, clearly you're trading in Fizztech, right? So,
One
do
question.
tell more.
Who buys your Fizztech?
Oh, friends in high places. I have many. They pay exceedingly well, though they're demanding as clients. The Fizztech must be of the purest variety. Pleasure meeting you.
Not the type you would tend to assume would be involved in the Fizztech trade, but alright. Also, we just got tackled by that little boy, but 50 experience, quest done, 10 crowns. 10 crowns. You just did a 4,000 crown trade, saved 1,000 crowns, and you decided to pay us 10. Hold on, buddy.
Pleasure meeting you.
Yeah, see, thing is, word has it, you have a lot more monies than you just gave us, so, like, pay up. No? Maybe not. Okay, let's take a look at, I guess, mostly our map, to figure out just how far we ended up. Whoa! Going through the city? Yes, we made it all the way to the westernmost part, so, or that was the objective, yes, but I was thinking probably approaching from the center and then making our way west, not starting west and then making our way toward the middle. But I suppose we can make that happen too. I didn't think there was anything over here. Hold on. Oh, yes! That is actually pointing toward the rest of the city over here. So I don't think we have much reason to swim over there right now. Presumably we can just make the rounds through other means. Oh, and I was going to say, what is this highlighting right now that we have a bunch of boats here? It is saying that that is, theoretically, a way to get to Skellige. And that is, of course, another main quest, so that's not really going to be our first priority here. If anything, we probably want to put the quest on that is specifically for Novigrad. But, like I was saying before, in all likelihood, we'll probably do other things first. This has got to be safe to loot, right? Pretty sure. We got some half-decent stuff there. Nothing amazing. Better than nothing. Okay, so there's our friend of sorts. So, like, this guy right here, who's giving us the evil eye. Is he gonna rat us out if we do this, or is it only guards? Normally it would only be guards in other cities, but even now this is Novigrad we're talking about. Don't really know if the rules are any different. I feel like they could very well be. Or at least types of people who you would expect to be ratting you out might be different. So if we go on this actual boat, this does not appear to be one of the ones, at least I don't think it was one of the ones. I'll take that right out from under you. That was labeled as a ship heading to Skellige, or maybe it's not highlighted anymore because we, of course, switched our main quest. But it looks like we can take the stuff from it, so sure. Ooh. Don't mind if I do. Guardsman's boots, superior relic oil. Iridium ore. Okay, great. We are now encumbered though, so I'm assuming there's gotta be people who can sell some stuff to as well. Because I forget if I was saying this before, but another thing in Novigrad that we definitely want to take a look at is we're expecting, or at least I anticipate that we will find some really good tradespeople. So, and craftspeople, actually I should say. So, having the ability to craft higher level items, the master items. I thought we heard someone say that basically the most skilled craftsperson in this area is in the city, which shouldn't be much of a surprise, right? We are encumbered though, so what do we drop here? Some of this stuff is actually quite light, so it's not going to make a big difference, but how far over are we? We're just slightly over. Oh, we have a bunch of junk weapons that we picked up after fighting some of those bandits. That's probably what's weighing us down here. So let's drop these blackjacks, and I think we might also have a mace. Yeah, that gives us at least enough wiggle room for now, but we probably will want to make our way over to one who can sell us, or who we can sell our items to, rather soon. Just ignore the fact that I nearly fell off that staircase there. Quicksilver solution. I think that's a pretty rare crafting material that we need for some potions. That is pretty funny, though. If you look at where we dropped our items on the map, it looks like there's just a bunch of poop in the middle of the ocean. Looks rather odd. Or the harbor, really. Speaking of which, is that buckthorn in the harbor? I mean, I suppose it's possible, but... Well, let's just say that normally harbors, usually the water there and soil at the bottom is not so great. Like, can we steal stuff in front of shady individuals, or is that asking for trouble? Because I feel like that's probably asking for trouble. I mean, we could, of course, find out, but I feel like that's one of those things that rather not learn the hard way.
You see what I...
It's not like it's amazing stuff either, so it's not making a huge difference. Okay, so... Okay, we can light that on fire as well, I suppose. There's more Quicksilver solution. That, I think, will be a bigger deal. Getting plenty of that, actually. Like, for example, down here, these little alleyways. What can we find in these areas? So there's basically no one here. I would assume this is quite safe to loot. This as well. Calcium echo. Yeah, we're getting actually, at least from some of these, pretty solid crafting items. That's not bad at all. Fair hide, baby, less so, but let's actually take a minute here, once we've taken all their items here, to see, after having picked up some of those things, if there are some new things that we can alchemize. So I feel like there might be. There are 3 alchemy substances here that we can make. Those are mostly going to be mutagens, right? Then, other than that, decoctions, we could make 1. Is this leftover something that we passed on previously, or is it not? Oh yeah, this is one of the ones that cost 4 lesser red mutagens. We would like to hold off on that for the time being. The enhanced relic oil, the one that we just found out how to create, we do have the ingredients for it. We have the cave troll liver is limited. I think we fought 1 or 2 of them. They're relatively new to us, so I'm guessing that's going to be fairly hard to come by, but everything else is fairly common. We have a reasonable amount of it. And I'm assuming getting a strong relic oil will be quite useful for us, so yeah, let's make it. Not sure what else we would make that would be better, that would use that resource. And that does seem like it, at least on the alchemy side of things. But for crafting swords and armor, that would be something that I think we could definitely make a point of doing.
I've had enough of living.
Yeah, sure, like this too, except it was pretty much junk. And by pretty much junk, I mean that it was junk. Oh, this too. That's a little better. Wait, is there an option to do something for the horse? We can... What? Can we steal your horse? It kind of seemed like it. Not sure I really want to test that theory, at least not at the moment. Maybe later when we have reason to actually need/want to do that. But at the moment, it seems like that would just be asking for trouble. And yeah, we're already stealing a fair bit of stuff in the middle of the city, so maybe we don't push our luck too much just yet, at least. Yeah, those guys seem to not care at all to take things right out from in front of them. Just like a... For a second, looked like a hamster wheel. No, some kind of fishing contraptions and docks to... loading stuff to reel in the boats. Yeah, that's actually really cool. 4 townsmen? Nice. How you guys doing?
Salutations, master.
One moment while I just bump you guys off of all of your work. This is, I believe, not an alleyway that we've explored just yet. So here, we'll check this out too. Is this the area where we just were, or is this a different set of people working on boats? I feel like it is. Yeah, already I can tell that this is going to be a ton of places for us to look, at the very least. Maybe it'll be as simple as... oh, a merchant. Maybe it'll be as simple as just looting stuff in and around everywhere. But there could very well be more than just that. There are definitely a lot of merchants who are not actually selling things, which is a little bit annoying. Feel like, well, if you're gonna call yourself a merchant, then actually buy and sell stuff. I thought I saw a door icon. Yeah, oh, this is just going back through here, and through there. So yeah, keeping track of where we have and have not gone is going to get very difficult to do. So I think all the more reason for us to be very mindful of that.
So how would you explain the wife's cousin getting murdered, his corpse reduced to bloody scrap?
That sounded like Witcher work. Someone getting murdered and corpse reduced to scraps? Sounds like a monster. No, we cannot swallow swords, at least not yet. Can't exactly say that we've been practicing. Sorry.
Washed your hair lately?
What? None of your beeswax, thank you very much, shady individual. Care that I just did that? Or do you care?
The thinking customer will see right away I've got the best deals this side of the...
Yeah, that's also junk. Okay, we have seen another one of those King of Beggar henchman people. I'm just trying to see if we can go through here, I'm sorry. And by through here, I mean, like, potentially steal all of your worldly possessions. So, like, I suppose maybe understandable that you would not want us to do that. Okay, it does seem like most people, yeah, are busy with stuff and don't really want to talk to us. This is where we took down some of those enemies previously, but I believe the loot that we have remaining here is largely junk. Nothing big there. Can we jump on that? I do really want to try, but I feel like, well, maybe we just say, drop a quick save and give it a shot. It's not like there's anything on there, but well, I just didn't even jump that time, so hold on. Gotta get our long jump skills ready to we gotta warm up basically, so we just, you know, give a little, well, yeah, and then a little, you know, jog it back and forth. Okay, Geralt, little did people know, was actually state champion when it came to long jump back in high school. Also, Geralt, do not dive in water that is less than 3 feet deep. You absolutely just bump your head, and that is arguably the most dangerous thing that you've done in the past 24 hours. So, any other people we want to talk to here, or doors we want to open, things we want to loot? Not just yet, I don't think. it seems like maybe, like people were suggesting, this westernmost part of the city might not have too much going on. Might be mostly people who are, you know, up to no good. And therefore people who don't really care if we steal a bunch of stuff, but Diamond Iridium Ore is no joke. So that's good to see. Vids Tech Attic, are you gonna care if we take stuff here? I don't think you guys will. Also, it's junk, so it doesn't really matter, but I suppose you could still get mad at us for it. Now that we're getting a little more into what seems like it might be a bit of main area of town. People care here. Yeah, it does seem like it is largely hit or miss, of course. Like, seashells and whatnot, not so significant, but Iridium Ore, very. So this, I think, is in fact one of those ships that was going to Skellige. But I'm more interested in if you, say, have some really nice crafting materials or books. I'm positive we've read that already. That one that we just picked up, though, maybe not. Have we? No, we definitely have. Yes, we've read that many times, in fact. But it's just all gonna be books. Hold on, this one? Not sure we've read this. Kovir, heard that name a lot, and Povis, not sure we've ever heard that one, are without a doubt the richest realms in the north. Also news to me. Few today remember that this was not always the case, yet their poverty was once literally on everyone's lips, in the form of now antiquated common sayings. As recently as in the days of Heribert and the Quarrelsome, one spoke of a particularly impoverished person as being poorer than a mouse from Povis, called bone broth Koviri delight, and referred to beggars as Praxides, after the bay along the shore of which these kingdoms lie. Yeah, I know Kovir is basically directly north of here, slightly west. But I likewise, I have no idea where, like I was saying before, I have no idea where Povis is. Similarly, if you remember that a mere handful of generations ago, Kovir and Povis were still a part of Redania. Oh, okay. King Radovid I, known as Radovid the Great, handed dominion over them to his hated brother. Why did he do that? Troyden, with one stipulation, that he never leave his newly acquired domain? I don't know how to say that word. And not interfere in matters of state. Heading over this rocky scrap of far northern ground where the saying went, the year had 2 seasons, August and winter, was naturally meant as a cruel joke, a slap in the face of the overambitious Troyden. Yeah, it was at the time seemingly just a throwaway type of gift, but it turned out that long term it was actually would become a prosperous land. Yet time soon proved that Radovid the Great had made a grave error. Before long, it was discovered that Kovir's bare rocks had hid priceless treasure in the form of enormous deposits of precious metals and rock salt. This discovery, in turn, led to tremendous growth in productive industry. Mills, forges, and workshops sprouted up like mushrooms after a hearty rain. Radovid III decided to correct his famous forebear's mistake and take back the northern frontiers of his kingdom. He was convinced the combined armies of Redania and its then ally, Kedwin, would quickly bring this ever more audacious vassal in line. History took a different turn, however, and Kovir won in a resounding, crushing victory. Interesting. It's obviously a younger nation, and also, at least from the map that we've seen of the world, it seemed like it was quite small. Radovid III was forced to sign the first Treaty of Lam Exeter, granting Kovir independence while binding it to eternal neutrality. Oh, whoa, okay. A promise Troyden's successors have kept with great diligence. Until recently, Kovir was ruled by Esterad Thyssen, a king as wise as he was greedy. I assume you mean he is both very wise and very greedy? Yet his untimely demise did not stop his lands from continuing to develop and blossom. Koviri metallurgists proudly compete with the best Mahakam can offer, and that's a dwarven city, I believe. So, saying that, I assume Koviri workers are humans, so to say that they are rivaling dwarven, the best dwarven craftsmen is, I would assume, a pretty lofty compliment. And many believe the University of Lan Exeter long ago surpassed the famous Oxenford Academy as the leading seat of higher learning in the north. And so it has become to pass that over the course of a few generations, the inhabitants of Kovir and Povis have turned from paupers into princes, from beggars into bankers. Very interesting. So if we were to go to our world map, and then there's some way to swap over to the actual, like, world map, not zooming out like this, right? What is it? It is... Nope, that's our stuffs. Oh, open world map, I just saw it. There we go. It's... I thought it just said A a minute ago, or did it say A when we were on this screen for some reason? I know we can open up the world map, I just want to take a look at where... Oh, there it is. Why? Okay. So yeah, we have Velen, and then technically, I guess as soon as you cross the Pontar, that is what distinguishes Velen from Novigrad, although it seemed like a lot of places that really looked like they were Velen are actually called Novigrad. And then White Orchard that we saw previously, a while ago, was that originally, did we hear technically Temeria once upon a time, but now Temeria is basically no more? So then you go way up north and you have Kaer Morhen, which I thought I saw somewhere is technically Kedwin, like the very far north of Kedwin. And then up here, this yellow part is Kovir, and maybe Povis as well, I don't really know. We have no marker there, which is interesting, and it'd be cool to check that place out at some point, but at least at the moment, doesn't seem as though that will end up happening. If it does, don't let me know. That sounds like a big spoiler, so don't tell me, but in some ways, I hope that we do get the chance to check it out. Other than that, we'll just continue to loot some stuff here. Any extremely valuable things on this boat that we should know about? Things that say are maybe not in that barrel? Here instead? Blood moss? Yeah. Maybe not. Ooh, this stuff. Honestly, more valuable. Elemental essence, that's something. So the boat's bell was ringing. Does that mean this thing is about to take off? About to take flight without a captain? What about the air traffic control? Did they give us the go-to yet? Ooh, okay. Hey, don't mind us. More stuff here as well? Are you guys gonna care? Don't think so. And all these hives are gonna start weighing us down at some point if they haven't already. I'm pretty sure those do have weight. Yeah, I'm positive they do, in fact. We definitely do want to find our way to someone who will actually trade with us. Now this... There are a lot of locked doors. I don't know which ones will actually let us go through at some point. This one will. And which ones are permanently things that we will not have access to. Wild Hunt, have we read this? From farmers and herdsmen, milksmaids to midwives, all the common folk of the continent whisper, sharing tales of a wraithly procession pounding across the sky. The Wild Hunt, they call it. Winds and gales, storms and blizzards arise when it is sighted, and all grows cold, though the sun shone bright moments before. Some remember only the cold from the shock of the encounter, and claim the riders come always in winter, but nay, this is not so. The hunt brings its own ice. Death and war gallop in its wake, or so the superstition goes. Yet evil enough is the hunt itself. It takes folk captive, youths most often, in the prime of their wildling years, with 10 to 20 summers behind them. The hunt rushes in, and they disappear, only to return long years later with no memory of what passed in the time between. So people will actually get abducted by the Wild Hunt and return alive? They just won't remember it? Is this one of the locked doors? Weird, we can go in through the other door, but not that one. Okay. So I see that this book is grayed out, and I think that was also the case with the Wild Hunt book. Does that actually mean that we've already read this one? Or is that just a coincidence? I don't know. Let's see. We read this one. I feel like we might have, but I'm not positive. I don't know if we have. Let's read it just in case. I was at Loch Muin. That's right, the summit of summits itself. We'd gone there, my troopmates and I, knowing there'd be a meeting of the mighty in the ruins. You see, whenever big shots gather to chew some particularly bristly fat, there's coin to be had for performing men like us. Tired jaws need to relax with some laughing and indulging, and other sorts of simple delights. I learned this as a lad from my old man, who dragged me around to juggle outside courts and conventions all over the continent. And so now, plying my own trade as a fire swallower, I told the lads up soon as I caught word of what was brewing in Loch Muin, and turned our wagons that way at once. Not much one for politics, but couldn't help but listen to some of it this time. You see, we Temerians have just lost our king, and our future was to be decided at that very summit, with John Natalis representing our side of the matter. Radovid was there too, a young pup then, though emanating strength like a gray-haired alpha wolf. It seemed this wolf was licking his chops over Temeria, like it was a ripe bit of carrion. The rest was dull. A lot of talk about the uprising in Edirn and its leader, Saskia, who they called the Virgin, though I never got the chance to check personally whether that was accurate. The Nilfgaardians had a delegate, some Shillard fellow, and mages were there, talking about restoring the Conclave and Supreme Council of Sorcerers. I didn't listen to much of that. My eyes were glued to the unusually large number of armed troops present at these peaceful talks. Steel-plated grunts clenched pointy weapons and paced the ruins' courtyards everywhere you looked. True, we were there. Radovid had even brought the Knightly Order of the Flaming Rose, also true, we also saw them. Those arrogant pricks, ready to bash anyone who doesn't think the same as them. Except for Siegfried, he's a good guy. Though the coin was coming amply, we didn't wait around to see how things would develop. Just loaded our stuff onto the wagon and left at a trot. As we mounted the pass, we looked back to see pillars of smoke, black as pitch, rising above Loch Muin. Yeah, things didn't end so well there. That's not wrong. Rolls to the north. Novigrad? Suppose might not be a bad idea to read about the city that we are currently in. No one can claim to have traveled to the northern realms who has not been to Novigrad. If I were forced to list what during my many meanderings has made the greatest impression on me, it would be precisely this great and yet, at the same time, free city. Are those two things typically in conflict with one another? I don't know. A metropolis worthy of the Empire. Its only flaw is that the civilization Nilfgaard carries within her has not yet enlightened it. This sounds like it's coming from a Nilfgaardian perspective. That is why hordes of reactionary cultists of the Eternal Fire dwell in the midst of its excellent buildings and superb commercial infrastructure. One feels as though superstition is how the local hierarch and his temple guard cement their power over the city dwellers. And many they are to control, for the city counts no less than 30,000 of inhabitants. Yeah, pretty big compared to other places we've been, for sure. While strolling through its fabulous port, surrounded by marvels of architecture, it is hard to imagine that centuries ago, Novigrad was a mere minor elven townstead. When the city fell into the hands of the Nordlings, its problems grew exponentially. For as is well known, the people of the North can do a great many things, but peaceful and orderly cohabitation is not one of them. Yeah, that is coming from someone from Nilfgaard, but at the same time, it's pretty accurate. And so Novigrad first belonged to Redania, and then fell under Temerian rule until finally, after endless compromises and bargains, it at last became a free city. I do remember reading that before. I don't remember if that was technically from this book or not, but at the very least it's a good refresher. But is the city truly free? I dare to doubt it. Redanian influence makes itself felt too strongly on every street corner, and the fact that the city is located within Radovid's territory speaks for itself. I suppose It is technically north of the Pontar, so does that mean that it would normally be called part of Redania? Whereas Velen, which is south of the Pontar, is no man's land? While wandering the city's streets, I came across 4 watermills, 8 banks, and nearly 19 pawn shops. There are also a great many houses of simple pleasures, such as taverns and brothels, and Novigrad's commitment to matters of faith is borne witness to by the fact that the city contains no less than, I kid you not, 19 temples of the Eternal Fire. I do remember reading this. Okay, I remember that part. What more can be said? I think Novigrad has all the makings of the capital of the world, and perhaps that is what one day it will become. First, however, someone needs to bring order in her walls. Maybe. But does that mean that we wouldn't be able to loot all this stuff from it? What shall become of Temeria? Seems like this is generally a place where we can brush up on our history a bit. We've definitely read this one. I think we've read basically all those. I just didn't remember the Novigrad one too well outside of that 1 or 2 sections. Okay. Should we be concerned about the tree branch that is currently going through the wall? Want to just, like, go back on the other side real quick? It's okay. Is this locked as well? Seems like it will be, or it is, because I tried to press A, but nothing was happening. Although, I mean, we're in, so I suppose we don't really need to open that door. It is strange that somebody left one of the doors unlocked and not the others. Jimmy, did you forget to lock the back door? Yeah, I'm sorry, Ma. Yeah, well, look at this. Now the Witcher got in. Stealing all of our alcohol. Yeah, what are you gonna do about it, though?